Okay, so somebody had asked me for a video about freehand cubes. All the stuff like overlapping, wedging, interlocking, creating a cube, starting with two lines and how the angle of them will affect the rotation and perspective of the cube, drawing cubes with ellipses, two starting lines I think you have in one of your old videos. Also, do you have your Draftsman cheat sheet uploaded somewhere and the one you had on your Tumblr long ago? Love you, bro, in your new vids. Okay, so first of all, I actually do have the exercise cheat sheet that I've posted on Tumblr, along with all of the GIF images. I still have all the GIFs, all the little, these things that I had uploaded with the post. So I'm going to have to throw them somewhere. We'll figure that out at some point. But yes, I still have the files. Okay. So working backwards here. Right. So drawing cubes with ellipses, all that. Okay. How to deal with the two lines and the perspective and stuff. All right. So in that case, I have fired up good old Wings 3D. And if we look at that, that's like a 90. Oh, that's a 90-degree angle, right, on this cylinder. You can think of it like that, and you can think of that as like a corner of a cube. And really, it's not so much about learning to draw cubes as it is being able to draw 90-degree angles at any orientation and position in space. So we'll start with like, maybe these two lines here, right? There's this line, that line. They're just two 90-degree angles, and we'll handle turning it like this. So, all right, we'll just get into TV Paint then. There. All right, so. And it would help if I actually pointed this camera somewhere other than my kneecaps. Right. Okay. So drawing ellipse like that, we can pretty much draw the spokes out like this. And if you wanted to draw cubes, well, I mean, the vertical lines more or less go straight down from these. And there's like another ellipse over here. And if we wanted to draw, let's say, how about this? Let's say we took a donut shape. And you can take that line and you can extend it beyond the edge. Right? We can take another line like this. We can extend that beyond the edge. So we've got two lines which can be used to turn into any quadrilateral. Right? In fact, maybe what I can do instead is we can take this. I can go down as well, right? I can draw straight down like that. And maybe this is a good way to do an exercise, is to actually draw a series of planar quadrilateral sections, just quads. So don't worry too much about drawing a whole cube, as much as you can actually think about just drawing the parts of the cube in perspective, and then you can eventually stick them all together to make a cube, because the cube is all made out of 90-degree angles, and then being able to handle this rotation is just, well, if you can handle this rotation of the quad, then it'll help you with drawing cubes from any angle. So, all right, so that's like, this is a starting point. And yeah, I can here, let's just knock that back a bit. I could take one of these, right? I could take one of these squares, or here, let's take one that's a little harder. I'll take one of these at this angle. And yeah, I can just bring that over. We can draw another section, right? I'll just raise that point up. Get any angle. You can get a cube of any angle that you want off of this. Oh, and like figuring out, how do I figure out this back wall back here, right? So you've got this one, right? Like that's pretty much the back wall. So yeah, just by doing this exercise, you can kind of figure out, like, if I draw, again, we've got a central axis, which goes up like that, and then you've got a line that comes out, or a line that goes out this way, or a line that goes out this way. So we're talking about starting cubes from any two lines, right? Just by looking at these two, just looking at this one angle on those two lines, you can use that to figure out, the other side. like that. And then, you know, look, we've got this, we have this other piece here, right? Let's just bring that over and connect it. There we are. And then, well, now that we've got two of these, all right, let's just take this guy and just duplicate it over. Boop, boop, boop. and then, well, what do you know? You throw in a line, you're done. So yeah, starting from a cube from any two lines. If you have this line and you've got this line, right, we can finish it off with the dot there, right? Or we could take this one and we could drop it down and, oh, we can finish that one there. We could throw in a line over here, right? And we can, oh, any two lines can be used to extrapolate out the rest of the cube. Okay, but here, we'll do it from another set of two lines. So if there's two adjacent lines, that's what we've just handled. What if we've got maybe two opposing lines? So here, let's get rid of this thing first. Do that. Oh, whoa, that's a slow redraw. Okay, so what about something like this, right? So we're looking at the cube from above. We're looking at it from below. Let's pick these two lines. How about this one and that one, right? So if we're looking, if this is the bottom of the cube over here and we're looking upwards at it, right? We're looking downwards at it. Look at what those lines do, right? They do that. They're converging down below if I'm looking at it from above. Sweet, delicious water. Okay, or we can look at it from below and they start to point upwards like that. So that's another two that we can use. And also, you know, I can take these 2 points, or these two lines, and if I turn them, right, look at how we've got the one that's far and the one that's near. This is a large line like that. If I turn it like this, right? So they can either converge off into the distance like this, or they can do this. And then in between well, I guess in this case, those two lines are going to, like, here, let me see if I can draw on the screen, right? This line is going to go and converge off that way, right? While these two lines here are going to go and they're going to converge off, you know, that way. And then these two lines are going to go and they're going to converge down there. Actually, all three of these are going to converge that way. And I guess while I'm looking at this, well, then these ones are going to converge off to the same point while this one goes and converges off like that. So, okay, so how this applies in drawing. Whoops, let's just, all right, we got to undo. Okay, so let's just mimic the same behavior. Good thing I've got a portrait style. Okay, so same deal. I can draw two lines, you know, parallel like that. This looks like we're looking at it straight on. But I can also take it and we can do that. Oh, now we're looking at it from underneath. They do this. And then same thing this way, except it goes the other way now. That one goes off down like that. And then it's a matter of figuring out, okay, so that one does that, this one does this. This one, I suppose, it's kind of hidden, right? Because the back plane is inside. We can't see it. It's inside. It's hidden. This one is doing, oh, it's kind of doing what this, you know, underplane is doing, right? So underneath it now, the hidden stuff is all over here. This is all hidden. This one, oh, look, this little piece here, right? This little piece is doing what this thing over here should be doing. There you go. So you can take that cube and you can roll it around. And, you know, again, remember how I did that thing with the bicycle spokes, right? Well, we can take this thing and we can flip it on its side. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so this is going to be a little wrong in the sense that, oh, that's like that side's a little too long. This side's a little too short. That's okay. We can correct it. We can just kind of nip off one of those sides. Up, 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 up. And then we can, there we go. Ugh, it's not a great cube, but it follows all the rules. So that's fine. How about this one? So there's a corner that's over here. So whenever you wind up looking like right at the flat top of a box, it's going to do that. All these points are going to line up together. They're going to make a line. It's going to look a little hard to understand, but then you're going to get that. All right, if we take this and we just move it like up a little bit. So here, you can get something like this where you have 3 points and all 3 points are perfectly level. So you're going to get something kind of like this. Or we can take this and we can move one slightly higher. So then you're going to get this. Now we're underneath it now. And we can really bump it up. So we're really, really underneath it. And then there's some stuff over here. And then we can do the opposite, right? We can take that point, we can shift it down. Right? So this one winds up coming up here. It does that. And we can really, really, it will shift as far as making like a square. If you're directly on top of it, it'll become more square. Like a perfect square, in which case there's some hidden stuff that's in there. We won't be able to see the bottom of it. The bottom, like all the sides and stuff will be hidden. They'll be hidden underneath, right? So you'll get something like that with this is the back wall back there. And all of this stuff still, right? We can do something like this, right? So doing this means that we can take a wall that does this, or you can take something like this. We can take and then we get something that's bleh. Okay. And that happens. And this happens. Ooh. Okay. So we're gonna have a little bit of wall clash because I'm gonna draw them as proper cubes, but yeah, there's gonna be a little bit of wall clash. So these clipping, I guess, these boxes are now colliding or clipping into each other, but I'm gonna try and make them look like proper cubes. But you can see I'm just using the red line so you can really differentiate the line here. I'll use a blue line for the one back here. And then I guess this one is doing that. But yeah, and this hopefully helps you with rotations and different axes. And so we can do, we can flip them upwards, we can flip them downwards, we can move them sideways. And these boxes there's a term we use called axial alignment, or they're axially aligned. These ones are kind of only axially aligned in the vertical axis, right? Like truly axially aligned boxes will be like a grid, right? There'll be a lattice, right? So I'm just going to draw like a whole bunch of axially aligned bounding boxes. I'm just going to keep dropping lines down like that. There we are. And the whole thing becomes like Minecraft. Right, and then we can stack more on top. And this is also another good thing you can do, as an exercise. Just, I guess I should probably start drawing. At any point, we can just kind of parcel out a box of space. Oof, it's getting really messy and confusing. What happens? Okay, so I guess at this point, this is where we start dealing with overlaps, right? How do you deal with overlaps, and how do you overlap things and get rid of lines that you don't need? Okay, so that's when we start getting into things like compounds. A compound box, well, the simplest one is we'll just take two cubes and we'll stick them together, end to end. You can think of it like Tetris, right? Well, this is a rejected Tetris piece, but you can start with something like this, right? And you can just start making the things out of these little, 1 unit toothpicks, right? So we can just keep adding another. Let's add another 1 unit toothpick back there. We can add another 1 unit toothpick that goes back there. So if you start thinking of them in terms of these little toothpicks, right? This can kind of help you with drawing things and eliminating the lines that you don't need. So I guess this one will go somewhere down there. Oh yeah, this one's back there. This one comes down to there. So I'd say if you want to start drawing compound shapes, you can draw the invisible stuff, the stuff that's hidden back there. You just draw it as a dotted line or really faintly. And if that helps you, right? Because you have to do this stuff, drawing the dotted lines helps a bit. It helps people with the alignment stuff. If you completely leave it out, it's maybe a few too many stages for the mind to really manage. And you can use maybe a different color as well. That kind of helps as well. Start with that. When you do it enough times, eventually, here's what happens: that if it is more work to do it this way, but the more you do a thing that is extra steps and takes more work, the more time you spend grinding in it, the more skill points you put into it, your brain will eventually say, I get it. It's wasting my energy. So I'm going to form some neurons. The brain will actually form neurons to make a mental connection where it's you don't have to do it anymore. It doesn't start out this way, but it's just when you do it enough times, your brain says, okay, we're doing this enough times and we're wasting enough energy doing this stuff that I will make a shortcut so you don't have to do it. That we literally have to trick ourselves into doing it by just repeating this kind of behavior. And that's pretty much how most practice works, is that practice is not just about grinding and doing something aimlessly. It's sometimes you take a particular thing that's difficult. Okay, I'm purposely going off alignment right now with this, right? But this is good, right? It's start with doing, individual unit lines like this and trying to build your boxes off of that. So this can really, really help. In fact, yeah, really try and reach the level cap with this stuff, right? We talk about mastering a skill. I say try to reach the level cap on that. Get it to the point where you're not really getting better at it, and you feel like this is easy. I'll put it this way: when you really master a skill, the mastery of a skill occurs when the thing starts to feel really simple to you and it feels really easy to you, to the point where you start to wonder. You start to wonder if it was ever difficult in the first place, in which case your imposter syndrome will kick in and start saying to you, it's you're not all that in a bag of chips. It's actually all the stuff you do is really easy and really simple. Am I really that? Am I really that great of an artist? That's basically when you've pretty much hit the level cap. You've hit the level cap when your mind has helped you by simplifying things to the point where you start to wonder whether, was it difficult ever in the first place? So, okay, right, yes. So doing this stuff, let's get to the point where, we're trying to eliminate lines. So there's depth. You'll start to eliminate lines when you start to get a sense of depth. And depth means, well, this guy's really, really close. This guy's further away. That one's further away. That one's really far away. And this one is further, these are getting further away, further away, further. And you start to get a sense for which things are close and which things are far. And you start to realize, based on these vertexes or these points, right, you start to kind of get a really good relative sense for distance, because the distance of those points is really going to affect which lines get clipped, which lines are going to be obscured, and you're not going to bother drawing them. So it's I could, wrong button. If I delete that, like if I partially knock it back, I know for sure that this line, that line, maybe I'll draw that edge and that line and that line. Actually, hold on. Let's just turn everything blue for now. Okay. I guess I can draw that one. All right, I don't have to draw these lines, I suppose. Yeah, but I can draw this one, and I can draw that one. I can draw this one. Oh, that one gets blocked. Like learning to minimize, to do this hidden line rendering where you're minimizing or you're culling all the unnecessary lines. That this is just something that you're gonna have to work on it for a little while. You're gonna have to put some skill points into that until you reach the level cap. I think that's pretty much all of the. I've culled pretty much all of the unnecessary lines, all of the exterior lines. So if I get rid of that, it's like, oh yeah, it's a little, it's like we could maybe have a little crease over here. It kind of looks like, it would benefit from having that little crease. So I guess where there's concavity, right? There's this concavity here. It's like, I guess I can put that crease in, but wherever it's convex, like this is a convex area, I won't put a crease. If it's concave, I will put a crease. Yeah, that's convex. I don't need to put any creases there. That's convex. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, it's like that's all right. All right. So you want to handle stuff like interlocking and all that other good stuff. So in that case, a thing that I think that really helped me the most with learning interlocking was a chain link unit. So if a cube is like a unit, all right, like a single unit cube, it's like the atomic unit of Minecraft, right? Everything's based off of the one block, right? That's the atomic unit. Well, let's make another type of atomic unit, except that this one instead consists of, I'm going to just plot this from top to bottom. So top down like a bird's eye view. Okay. We'll use a long bar for that one. Okay. I'm not really going to specify too much. Maybe, I don't know the exact measurements of this chain link. I just know that the corners all fit one cube. Maybe we could do this one with like 2 cubes. And then this one can be like 4 cubes. So even then, yeah, hey, guess what? It actually does all parcel out. There's like 4 here, 4 here, there's 2 here, there's 2 here, and then these are 1. These are our single unit chain links. So something like this, first we're going to have to draw it like, we're going to be, drawing the whole thing out. So very maximalistic. Right, and then these guys split in half like that. We're just doing this the one time just to really get a good sense for how big the whole chain link piece is. And, I get that like you're probably going to need to do a little bit of training before you can handle this, right? This is just so that, when you master the cube stuff, then you don't have to ask me a second question. We're just trying to nail all the questions at once. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay, right. So here we are. Here's our chain link. And the thing is that, later on this chain link, you're going to round the whole thing off anyway. Like it's very squarey, it's got a lot of corners on it. But yeah, eventually you're going to probably wind up rounding that off. You're going to round this off. Okay, right? And if I eliminate it all together, boom, there's our minimal chain link piece. So here's where it starts to, like, we've got a piece that looks like this, but we should probably also try making a piece that looks like, right, so this one is four pieces tall. It's 4 blocks tall. And this is like, this one's 6, so it's 4 by 6. And the thing is, I'm able to, like, my brain has already gotten to the point where it's just saying, that's approximately how long it is, right? Like, I have the sense for it. I've done it enough times. So it's okay. You know, don't worry. At first, you're going to be making a bunch of these, and they're not, you know, the measurements won't be perfect. They're going to be kind of wibbly wobbly. My sense of approximation is now pretty good. It's, you know what, it's good enough. So, you know, don't let it get you down if you're not like perfectly accurate. I just say you just need to draw more of them until you get, you know, really, really good with it. And by really good, I just mean, you know, really comfortable. Don't worry about like being laser or surgically accurate. No one cares about that. It just starts to look really stiff when you get like laser accurate. Here we are. There we go. And then we have that one. And then we have, oh, right, this goes up like that. And that one goes like that. There we go. So we've got these 2 chain links. And then, you know, now what you can do is let's figure out how to stick the 2 together, right? What now? If we're going to try and, let's try and make like a circle of chain links. Well, I can tell you this much, is that we're going to get 2 of these, right? We're going to get 2 of these things, and we're going to jam them together like this. They're both going to go in there. That's what's going to happen. So it means that, you know, this kind of pillar-shaped bar is going to be jamming in here, right? And then this one has another pillar-shaped bar like that. We're going to jam it in here as well, right? And then here, let's move this aside. Okay, we'll grab this, we'll move that over, right? So that's sort of what happens. It jams in like that. And then you can almost kind of envision, well, let's draw the other pillar bar. So we're not going to bother rotating it yet. That can happen later. It's just a little bit too much to handle in the beginning. And that's another thing, right? So I'm not even worrying so much about squaring this thing off and making it into a proper cube. Like, drawing ellipses is actually, it's just a lot easier on your hands. All right, so I can just take this. We'll bring that over here. Oof, I've got this. Hang on, let me get this crap out of the way. Boink. Right, so I can take that. We can take this. Well, let's just raise it up. And and then this is going to go back over there. And then we can just draw this in black. Bloop, bloop. And we'll just, there we are. That one kind of goes like this. This one goes like that. Oh, and then, all right. So that's going to hook in there, right? There's our little piece that hooks in there. This one comes over here and it comes out that way. Oh, and then this line goes on top and it goes down like that. And this one, oh, it's kind of, I won't even bother drawing that. This comes up and around like that. That one goes over there. This one obscures in front like this and goes inside. And then the bottom part is kind of hidden, but it comes out here and it shows up there. Right? We're not going to bother trying to curl this unit yet. So I can just get rid of that and get rid of that. We can get rid of this. Right? Except, actually, hang on. Oh, yeah, that works. Right? So like this is the initial one, right? It's kind of it's very simplistic, right? But this is like, you know, level 1 difficulty. And level 1 difficulty is kind of hard to begin with, all right? So, but you know, once you kind of get the hang of this, then it's like, okay, well, what if we got to rotate the bloody thing? So what if we got to, you know, what if we want to go all the way around? Well, let's take what we got here. Let me just chop that out. Okay. So what if I need this to come down this way? Oh, look at that. Bloody hell, I just discovered a shortcut, right? We can draw the chain link as like a flat card, like literally as a flat card. And then I can just, right? We can just, that. Well, this is handy, right? So I can just, let's fatten it up now. So we'll extrude it. We'll puff it up. We'll fill it up like an inner tube. I guess this one, we can do that. There we go. Found a cheat. Oh, look at that. Found an exploit. So I'm trying to say, it's like, don't do this stuff thinking like you have to do it my way, right? Or like we may have a plan, okay, but be flexible. Be flexible. If your brain, like, the thing about the brain is the brain starts to think of easy ways to get out of doing hard work. Good. Use it. Use it. Absolutely use it. Right? Okay, cool. Like, so we can now that we have that, I can, here, let's erase some of that red stuff. Here, I'll just repaint that as red. There we go. And then same deal, right? I can just take another, we can take a, I'm going to make that vertical card again. Right? In this case, it's like that. And then same deal, let's spiral that back. Here we are. We can spiral this down. This is very maximalistic and very scribbly, but it's very fast, man. It's like, it's super fast. And here, we'll just paint that as red for now. And we'll, there we are. It's like, you just need enough. Think of it like working with wax or Play-Doh, right? Like, this is, when you're sculpting, you don't try to chisel the whole thing out of marble to begin with, right? You don't, like, especially with wax sculpting, when you're sketching with wax, like when you're, so the term sketch doesn't just mean, sketching with pencils and 2D sketching. Like, there's actual 3D sculpting sketching. And sketching means, if you're working with, let's say, wax, you work with lots of little pieces of wax, you throw them all in hot water and you let them warm up and they become soft and pliable. And then you just start mashing your shapes together really fast. It's really soft and easy to work with, and you can quickly build whatever shape you want. It's inaccurate. It's not nicely chiseled off, but it's really easy to work with, right? You can quickly make the shape you want. And then you can cool it down, and then you can start shaving off pieces and starting to carve it and making it look really, you can start tightening the screws and increasing the accuracy of it, right? But at least you've got that initial sketch. And so that's what that swirly crap that I just did was, is I quickly, I manifested, materialized like a really quick amount of, blobby geometry that I could use. So there's no need to be rigid. There's no need to be rigid with when you're starting the stuff out. It's like, it just, look how much easier it is, right? So, work, like, don't do something just because it's correct, right? Don't do it because it's the orthodoxy or because it's the prescribed way to do things. I say, do what your brain can handle. Do what your brain, what works with your mind, right? Like, same thing with how I play the piano. Like, I don't, the reason I don't do a lot of the stuff that's done in the orthodoxy is because it's incompatible. Like, for me, we're just incompatible. It's like a food allergy or like having dyslexia, asking, it's like, well, come on, dyslexic person, just read, just read the text. It's like, that doesn't help the dyslexic person at all, right? So sometimes it's just, sometimes a way of teaching someone, right, or the way that in which the information is delivered can simply be incompatible with the student. Like, the student may just be, it just doesn't fit. It's a poor fit. It's incompatible. And so another way has to be found. So for all of you who are out there in, in academia, and people are trying to teach you stuff, and, if you can't handle it, it's like, it's too hard for you. Sometimes it's a matter of just incompatibility. Like, the explanation may simply be incompatible. So before you beat yourself up about being dumb, like it could just be that, the explanation is incompatible. I guess that pretty much, I hope that, I think this will keep you busy for a while. Let me just triple check that, that channel. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's covered. Drawing cubes with ellipses. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. All right, so I'm gonna have to find some place to upload those images for the cheat sheet. Oh yeah, drawing cubes with ellipses, right? So I guess I'll just have to put that in the description when I'm done here. Okay, so at that, so you can like if you can take a circle and you can inscribe a square in it, then you're all good. Yeah. And same thing, you can take a square and you can inscribe a circle out of it. And then if you have, we have a circle, we can inscribe another square in it. And then, I'm making an alchemical symbol. And if you start turning lead into gold, then the authorities are going to start coming after you because you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, don't like make any homunculi or synthesize any humans. That's bad. Very bad. All right. Okay,